Hey church, this week's pastor's note. Funny how some things sort of stick in your mind. I remember a sermon preached many years ago to me as I kind of look up our window. The storm is busy raging outside, and it was a sermon based upon Mark 4, where Jesus and his disciples are in a boat on the Sea of Galilee. Jesus has gone to sleep, just exhausted after a long season of ministry, and the disciples get more and more anxious as the storm rages against their little boat. And I remember so distinctly the sermon. I remember the title particularly. The title was, "Don't cling to the mast, cling to the master." Don't cling to the mast, cling to the master. And so you can imagine these disciples anxiously holding onto the rigging of the boat, uncertain about what the rest of the night is going to look like and whether they will indeed make it to the other side. And at some point, when the storm seems like it's going to overwhelm them, finally they rouse the master, and it's in Jesus that they find calmness in the midst of the storm. So what you're going to be aware of over the last months is that the elders of the church have been meeting each and every week to talk and discern and pray together. And it's been a really interesting season. We've fleshed out a whole lot of things, shifted a bunch of strategy, put some things in place that I think have served us really well over this last season. You have a phenomenal bunch of leaders in this church at every level, and very broadly so. And I want to give thanks to God for the leaders and for the ministry leaders particularly, and the elders. It's just been a phenomenal season to listen to the creativity, to listen to the determination with which they are prepared to take all of these challenges and really turn them around as an opportunity. And the sense that we had last night on our meeting was really that we've weathered the storm well. We have leaned into Jesus and tried hard to discern his calling in the season. And the sense is that the storm is still raging, the waves may still be battering the boat, but we have a sense of stability. We've done some phenomenal work on our online platforms, and over the next weeks and months, we really want to chart a course. We've gotten to a point where we've kind of got stability and certainty about what we are doing, and now we want to chart a new course and trust God to lead us on. And we know this is a tough season for a lot of people, but for the church, we believe this is a unique opportunity. Firstly, this is a great opportunity to speak about the reason for the hope that you have. A lot of people can be really negative, and as God's people, there is a sense of calmness, a sense of peace, and a sense of hope, even in the hardship of this season. And so this is a great opportunity for you to give a reason for your calmness in the midst of this storm. There is a unique opportunity here where people are going to be looking at our lives. Secondly, we've put a ton of work into our online platforms, and so there's just this great opportunity to share the material that we're producing with people. Whilst our friends might not always easily want to come to church with us, this is an opportunity to take the Sunday service to them. And so just pass out the material. It's on our YouTube and our Facebook platforms, also on Instagram. Really easy to share what God is doing in the midst of this community with others who are not yet part of it. And then thirdly, it just seems to us that a crisis like this offers us a whole bunch of opportunities to shift our focus, to stop taking some things for granted and to shift the direction that we want to take. And so I would encourage you just to be praying for us as leaders of the church over this next season as we chart a new course on, as opportunities arise, as challenges push us in different ways. We want to hear Jesus' voice, and we want to follow hard after him. And so would you pray for us as we do that? On Sunday's live stream, we had a phenomenal time just talking. I love Johan de Pre, one of the members of the church. If you missed the live stream, here's a short little clip. There's a more complete version on YouTube. I would encourage you to go and have a look at it. But just listen to some of this out of Sunday.
And but he has a saying that just challenged me. He says that you just happen to get a certain talent from God, and it wasn't meant for your own consumption. It was meant for the better of the bigger family. So the analogy that he uses is, he says that just because you are the army chef doesn't mean that you can eat better than the troops. You may have all the tools to make food with, and you may have a lot of inventory, but it wasn't for you. It was to make sure that the troops can eat well. And I find that such a good analogy because our first inclination is to think, well, I have this, or I have that, or I have achieved this. But once you realize that it's all grace, then you also realize that it wasn't meant for you. It was meant for the bigger good. So I think in this time we should be asking, what do I have? And how can I use it for the bigger good and not for my own consumption?
Some of the men will remember Johan speaking a few months ago at the Viral Sermon Series, and just a great deal of wisdom about the way the world works and the opportunities that we have to be Christian in a business environment. And so I would encourage you to go listen to the fuller version of that on YouTube. We want to continue to be a disciple-making church, and so let me hand you over to Liesl, one of our elders, and just listen to her talk a little bit about the value and the importance of community, and particularly in this season when we feel so particularly isolated from each other. It is a deep reminder to us about the importance of godly community. So have a great week. Bless you all. Grant and I just want to keep encouraging you, and so listen to Liesl, and then may the Lord watch over you this week, and we'll touch sides on Sunday.
Hi church. Community is very important in our lives, and probably more so when we are in trouble. But none of us like to admit when we are in trouble. We've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So disciples hold one another accountable. That's just what we do as Jesus following people, because that is what Jesus called us to do. In this life, there are many temptations and many things that want to draw us away from following Jesus. And if we do not hold one another accountable, then we can very quickly go off course. We can be like a ship without a rudder, just aimlessly floating to and fro wherever the wind blows it. Accountability requires a huge amount of grace and truth. And I'm always reminded of Jesus. He came from the Father with perfect grace, perfect truth, and perfect love. If you're all truth, you're going to be harsh and judgmental and abrasive. But if you're all grace, you're going to be too soft, and you're not going to call evil for what it is. So we need to strive to be like Jesus, with a perfect measure of both grace and truth. It's only at the cross that we see perfect judgment and mercy lived out. We are more sinful than we ever believe, but we are more loved than we ever dare to hope. So let's be people of the cross. Let's not let sin go unmentioned. Let's point it out, but with a good measure of both grace and truth, and with humility, knowing that we're merely one sinner, reminding another that they are loved more than they can ever imagine, and pointing them to where they can find perfect grace. As Jesus said in Matthew 18, verse 15, if your brother sins, go and point it out to him, just between the two of you. If he listens to you, you would have won him over.